Hello everybody and welcome back to Big Dan's channel. I am, of course, as always, Big Dan, and today I am going to be reviewing She-Hulk Attorney at Law Season 1 if they decide to renew for Season 2, if not, just She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Oh dear God. Yeah, that's basically the way I'm going to start this review. I went into this thing, I'm not going to lie, I went into this thing kind of being a bit biased because I'd heard not very good stuff about it. I'll admit this, while it does have its problems that are very clear in it, it's not as bad as it's made out to be, at least in my opinion, okay? Now, but I just want to get something clear right off the bat before I start getting criticised here. I don't hate it because it's feminist. The reason I hate it is because it overdoes the feminism, if that makes sense. Like, I feel as though, look, I don't have anything against it being in TV shows and films, but it's just the fact that it's so prevalent and felt like it had to continually make the point of it, where you couldn't really focus on the show, was something that was a bit annoying for us. And look, let's not beat around the bush here. I'm a bloke. That probably doesn't help matters. But look, I have nothing against feminist TV shows. If you like to watch it, then go out. Look, I'm not going to judge you for doing it, but please, for the love of God, just don't ruin Marvel. So, but anyway, I'll say this. I'd say the weaknesses of it is more of the stuff it doesn't do more than what it does. For example, like, I feel like it could have done a bit more action in it. Like, it was a bit sort of more chatty than I'm used to, and it felt like it was more than it needed to be. But I will say this, while I say that, it did keep us coming back for more. There was some sort of lure about it, because the fact that this thing's only 9 episodes long isn't a weakness, it's actually a strength, because it means you keep feeling like you're getting closer towards the end of the story, and you can see the development. Like, there isn't any filler episodes, so I'll give credit there. And they managed to make the court scenes in it, because come on, she's an attorney, the court scenes in it were engaging. They weren't just sort of felt like something you were like, can we please get this over with? Like, you were actually interested and invested in what was going to happen. But I don't know, it's half decent, but I do think there's stuff better than it. For example, I don't know, let's say Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I know that's an amazing one, at least from what I can tell, but it's just it's pacing and the comedy in it, while it is funny, it's not on the level of some of the other Marvel shows and films that we've had. Here we go, because this whole thing needs a separate review in itself. From this point onwards, I'm just doing the season finale review. That's basically all I can say about the very last episode, is the fact that the season finale of this thing is an absolute bin fire in itself. I'll try my best not to go into spoilers territory here. I'll say this about it, on the bit it slowed down at, which, if you've seen this, you'll know what I'm on about. There was a few funny bits in it, I'll give it that, but it's the fact that we didn't get some big fight in the end, nothing like that happened. I felt like the Hulk was just wasted, and if I'm being honest, up until he returned in this episode, I'd completely forgot he was even in this thing. Instead of the villain of this thing getting sort of beaten up or something like you'd like to see in a Marvel show, then he just gets told, she's gonna see him in court, which is just...
This can't possibly be where this season was going.
I feel as though the way this thing was written was like the people who wrote it were drunk at the time and just egotistical. Like, minor one here, but I can honestly tell you, the writers of this damn thing were so egotistical that they literally put themselves in the show. That's the level of egotisticalness we've got here. Or ego, whatever the word is. It would have worked if it was one of the earlier episodes, maybe like episode 5, so sort of like halfway through. But it's the fact that this was meant to be sort of the big finale where everything gets revealed and it all just comes together and works and everything's resolved. It comes together. We'll have some big final fight. Everybody would have been happy, except the people who wouldn't, but that's their problem, quite frankly. But no, basically, I know this is one of my worst things when it comes to film and TV, but it's just the slow pacedness of this thing and just the unnecessary thing of it strained from what they call the Marvel formula, because this thing decided to be meta for the last episode, which just came out of nowhere. It was just unbearable. So my final verdict for the season 1 finale anyway is a goddamn friggin' 2 out of 10 for the season finale of it. The only reason it isn't a 1, the lowest I go, is because it had a few funny moments in it. But please, for the love of God, just, if they do decide to make a season 2 of this thing, never, and I mean never, do anything like that again, because that was just infuriating at its finest degree. Which brings me to the season 1 verdict. At times, I wanted to boost this thing up. There was a few moments where that made us think maybe I should go 1 mark higher. But because this thing's somewhere around the middle for me, I'd say it's a slightly better. I'd say there's a few more positives that I've mentioned over the negatives. So I'd say it is a little bit better than it is worse, if that makes sense. But the negatives of this thing are very clear, and there's Marvel shows and films I've watched before this that are just much, and I mean like much better than this. Like, I know this is like absolute top tier, but just for example, Endgame and Infinity War and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2, and pray for the love of God, that 3 is amazing. So my final verdict for She-Hulk Attorney at Law Season 1, I'm gonna put it in a kill for this, is a 6 out of 10. It was gonna be a 7, as I've mentioned, but potentially, but like there was thoughts of bringing it up to a 7, but just how they did it in that season finale and how much of an absolute epic fail that was from the 2 out of 10 I've already given it. After that thing, I was like, this thing's getting a 6. It is not getting a 7 in hell. But yeah, as I've said, please, if there is a season 2 of this, do it goddamn better. But yeah, watch this thing if you want. I'd say it is a fairly addictive thing to get through if you ignore the season finale. But other than that, I'm Big Dan as always, and I'm out. Peace.